All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another beautiful day of trading with the P2P community. Marlon, Carlo, good morning. NFP has gone nuts. Got a little pop in the market. It exploded. The news is frantically trying to explain this move. I'm reading it in Forex Factory. Oh, well, it's because of this and this and that. And that's great. Market only does three things: trend, reverse, trading range. Right now, we are breaking out. We are at levels. NASDAQ, previous week's high. 3 sessions of breakout and going higher. US 30. High of current week. Looks like the high of the previous week is still intact. Gold. High of current week. Let's see, the Russell. High of previous week has been hit. Oil. Strong breakout. Let's see, low previous week has been hit. And they are broken down. They are broken out. I think we might even be at the low of, is this the low of previous month? Oh yeah, we're down here at the low of the previous month. So it's beautiful. NFP Friday. John, good morning. Good deal. Good to have you here. Good morning. Do you have screen share on? I sure do. P2P, welcome. We'll begin shortly. Yeah. I'm just letting some people flow in, and then we're going to get going here. I'll turn my screen on. Boy, I need to shave. My mustache is getting out of hand. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Let's get going. We've got things to talk about and discuss. Before we start this trading day, just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only, without an express supply word of any kind, including works of accuracy, completeness, fitness for any particular purpose. Pause stream, read this. Y'all read it? All right, cool. Going on, let's go. NASDAQ. We've had a bit of a run. We've got the third day of longs triggered into the market. We have gone back to the high of the current week. And we've had 3 sessions now of breakout. So if I were to take this and I were to put my little sessions indicator up there, we'll notice previous day's high, Asia broke out, London broke out, and then now New York triggering previous week's high and blowing off in a direction, potentially in a non-sustainable move. Of course, we could go up here and consolidate. Not to say it's going to break down. I don't even really think it will. But there's a potential. We've got 3 sessions of breakout. We're at the previous day's high. The move to the upside is complete. I'm not really willing to continue to trade this in the long direction. Now, this is a very strong move, so I don't want to just get in front of the train. But we're at levels. It's something to watch. We've got 3 sessions of breakout on the third day of the week, Friday. Last day of the week, we're at the high of the current week. I wouldn't mind watching this. Okay. Let's go on to US 30. We had an inside bar that led to a range expansion of that inside bar. looking a little something like this right here. Almost a perfect to the pip, to the tick expansion of that bar yesterday. And then that leads us into today. We're at the high of the day. We're at the previous day's high. We're at levels. At the very least, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing to be. So maybe watch this. I don't really think I like this. That one hurt, Marlon. Yeah. I don't know if I'm really willing to watch this. I don't know or think that I really have a setup. We're at the high of the current week. I don't know. We're going to keep watching. I think gold might be a little bit better as far as thesis goes. We had a breakout on Wednesday that closed in breakout. And this is exactly what I said yesterday at the beginning of the stream. I said, well, maybe, we got to think about the news calendar. Maybe Wednesday's going to put in a high, and then yesterday, Thursday, maybe they're going to put in a low because we were looking at it. Maybe this is the lower low. Maybe they're going to go back down. And I said, well, maybe it's just a high and a low for tomorrow, which is NFP. And you can see exactly what happened. It was for NFP. And there's the squeeze. They go back to the high of the week. And then now that leads us to right meow. And right meow, we are at the high of the current week. We're at levels. And that gives me something to watch. All right. Does that mean I'm going to go short today? No. Not even close. Does that mean I'm going to go long? Again, no. But we're at levels, so I can watch and see if the setup presents. If we get a peak formation high put in place, they break down, they go sideways. We come back down into the breakout traders. I might take that session trade. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. Russell has triggered previous week's high, is also in breakout. Yesterday, what signal did we have? We had an inside bar and a breakout. So there really is no glaring signal. Let's see, we were broken out to the downside, so I guess yesterday was breakout day one. We made higher highs today. Take a look here. Yep, we made a higher high over here. Actually, I think that'd be all the way down there. Not really sure what I could be looking for on this one either. Let's go into oil. Oil is in breakout. Oil's in breakout a lot. It's down there pretty far. Bottom of the box becomes the top of the box, maybe. But we're in a 1 bar range. Look at this bar. There's a high of that bar. And this is just on a 5-minute chart, too. There's the low of that bar. So we are quite on the inside on oil. Not really sure what to do with that. So unfortunately, we are a little lackluster on setups this week. Pretty much all week. Which is unfortunate. Do I trade copper? Not really. No. No. Not normally. We've got 6 minutes to the open. This is looking okay. I could get behind this. Maybe. All right. Even if it is just a stop hunt or we go back into the longs a little bit. I subscribe to that. But that's a big maybe. Okay. Pump for dump. Maybe. I'm going to put gold down over here. We're at the levels again, so I'm good with that. I think I'm going to... I need to put these indicator... Yep, there we go. And we should be ready. Marlon, I don't really trade copper, but I do have it on the list. Is there something on copper that you see that maybe is better than everything else we're looking at? All right, we have breakout date. Okay, so I can see where you're going with this. I can see where you're going with this. Yeah, or Wednesday, first red. Thursday, breakout day 1, project that level across. And they're working the high. Honestly, that's probably way better than anything that I've looked at, if I'm being honest. I don't really trade copper, so I probably won't be taking this. But this is nice. We even have the 3 legs to the high above P2, breaks down, goes sideways, doesn't allow those people to get back out. Now they're breaking down. That spread's a little insane though, isn't it? Maybe it's just this broker. Do I even have copper? Let's see. I do have copper. How's the spread on here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't trade this, unfortunately. That's a little too thin. That is a little too lightly traded for me to be getting into there. But that's a good catch, Marlon. That's the ability right there just to be able to identify a better template. Heck yeah, good on you. All right, NQ going a little bit higher now. Pumping it back up. We have the pin hammer. No engulfment. We're just in an up move. Just keeps going higher. Cool. Looks like we just had a little 1-minute breakout. And then bringing Riot back down. I got to tell you, everything is set up right now for what looks to be continuations of the up move. Now, this move is already pretty, up there, so I am definitely not taking all that. I'm just not. That's not something I do. If it looks like the move is already left, I usually am just not willing. I just don't want to be a buyer. Yeah, I think the time to be a buyer was at 8:30. On that first bounce, first 15 minutes after. I would say would be the best time. I don't trade at that time. I'm not even at the computer, so I can come in and look and observe and see based off what happened. Do I have a setup now coming into 9:30 and afterwards? But which honestly is a ton of information in itself. Let's see if they break out of the EMA and trap, or if they break out of the EMA and collapse. All right, things are a little more volatile than they've been. I think I'm gonna have to go down to a might have to go down to micros here if I were to enter. The range is a little bit larger than normal. 9:30 is about to come in. Let's see here. How are we looking on the 100 pip box? All right, so we have broken out of double zeros, and we're at 50 on NQ. Pumping. Look out. A little bit of volatility. Look at that bad boy. Look what they just did to everybody. Jeez. And that's something. I'm definitely looking for a session scalp if I get into anything. If I get into anything, I am looking for a scalp. Something that I can get in and get out of very quickly. I ran a little breakout, maybe like a little breakout fake out bar, or maybe the beginning of a W. Over here, we're at 25. We're going to come back down to double zeros. Kind of seems like maybe it wants to. Maybe struggling to get down lower though. We're still in the first 5 minutes of the New York Open. We're going to see some volatility here. All kinds of back and forth. Look at this, we got a failure to go lower. Well, it closed a little bit lower, but it's trying to get back up there, and eventually I think it's going to succeed. Let's see here. Silver looks good. Oh wow, it failed to go back up again. Let's see if it gets down to double zeros here. All right, I took some off at double zeros. It's basically going to be a 4 micro split. So I took the trade up here at 25. I closed some at at double zeros, and I'm trying to hold for the low of the day, which I don't think is going to happen. I have a pretty high likelihood, I think, of getting stopped out. Almost guaranteed, I think. But we'll see. Maybe it collapses, you know? Maybe we get a nice collapse back down. Who knows? But I am looking for an explosion to at least get to break even here. I think maybe it's even best if I just... Nah, I'll just hold on. If I get stopped out, who cares? Oh, look at the Russell. Away it goes. Let's see if we can break through double zeros. I am at break even on my last little position here. I think I'm going to try and hold for about 50 points. Since this is a scalp, I've already taken about 25. Looking to get in for 50. By looking to get in, I mean, I'm just looking to take it at 50. I'm at break even plus 3, so 3 points in profit. Looks okay. We're back down at the bottom of that bar, which I'm not a fan of. I think that if this is going to A-top, we should see an explosion down. I'd like to see a breakout back down through double zeros, break out of this bar's low and close. We got 5 minutes left on this 15. On a 5-minute chart, we already have the breakdown, basically the breakout. Looks like I'm going to get stopped out. All right, we just got taken out, break even plus 3, so I took 3 points. 25 plus 3, so there's really not much more, but... Not a whole lot. Was hoping for the full 50 points, but... They might have just penned up into me before they keep going, but I don't even care. It's okay. Still not bad. A little 25 point rip. I'm not complaining. Actually, looking at it, I think that first initial position I took was 19 points, not 20. I got out with 19 points, which is about 75 ticks. Yeah, it's still not bad, right? And it's exactly, we came into the session, and I think Carlo or Marlon, either one of you, I can't remember, you said you were looking for a scalp or whatever. So I did exactly what I said. I'm looking for a scalp. I'm looking to take it. If it maybe progresses into something larger and it evolves, if the template evolves, I'll get into something bigger. But I looked at the probability of success. I think it was very high based off of what the chart was doing. And it is a setup that I frequently take when it presents. It presented. I followed the plan. I got out. Nothing to write home about, but it's bread and butter. Bread and butter. All right. Where did the thing go? And yep, there we go. Apply these indicators to the entire layout. There we go. All right, so one of the things that I like to see, or I like to observe, is whenever you have, see how these pens, right? They kept pinning up and then going a little bit lower and then pinning up and then going a little bit lower and pinning up and pinning up. When that keeps happening like that, one thing that I've noticed is that can actually be an early warning sign that they're working the low. If they keep pinning up like that, eventually it will succeed. A lot of times, right? Like right now, what we're seeing is it has eventually succeeded. Eventually, we got a breakout. We had the lowest close in the move, and we get the breakout, and there it is again. It pinned to try to go higher. The next bar succeed. It's like it's trying, and they're just not giving up. The longs are just not giving up. They're relentless. All it takes is for a small shift where the shorts do give up, and then they essentially the longs can take control again. At least that's the way that I think about it. Is like they just keep trying and they're trying and they're relentless. They just keep trying, and eventually they do take control, and that's kind of what we're seeing now. Again, just as a little observation, which you heard me talking through as well, which is why I was trying to get to break even, because I had a bad feeling that this wasn't going to get as far as I wanted it to. There's no point in losing out, giving some back just because I didn't want to go to break even because it's too close. Let's see, typical NQ. Yeah, especially lately, Carlo. First 5 whips back and forth. Yeah, we've been very consistently, just whipping back and forth. Today actually did go, I wouldn't say unidirection, because we hit the other side of the range and then pulled lower. A lot of times this week we've seen, a whipsaw back and forth at the open. Let's see here. Yeah, so like little indecision or doji candles where they hit both sides. I think this is actually what you're saying. Next 5 breaks. First 15, we start to fade. See what the previous day did. Yep, first 5 hitting both sides. Second 5 moving down. First 15 starts the reversal. Ooh. Are they going to start chopping? That's what I would be worried about. We've gone from a period of expansion and a pullback, and now the swings are getting very close together. We've got some back and forth. Is this an early warning sign? Are they going to start chopping back and forth? When in doubt, just always believe they're going to chop back and forth, because then it'll just keep you out. I don't think we have any more news on the calendar, right? Let me double check. Let me make sure that there's no 10 o'clock. I'm almost certain there isn't. But then me saying that, I might have to eat a shoe. Okay. Nope, we're good. No more news events today. We are free and in the clear. And I should have been a little bit more confident in that, just because surely somebody in here would have said, Cam, there's news at 10. And then I would have said, wow, really? And I would have went and looked. But that didn't happen, so that should have been my early warning sign. Yeah, Carlo, and that's it feels like it's a squeeze, right? Like maybe they're just sucking people in with the how could it possibly continue mentality. And maybe this is just going to be a really large range, like a wide range week, which right now it actually doesn't look that big. Relative to other wide range weeks, we don't have that much of a blow off. Previous month's high. Is that what we're shooting for? Is that it right here? Yeah. Oh my gosh, what was that silly song way back when? I think it was like in 2008. It had to have been. Maybe. It's like I whip my hair back and forth. That's what this market, it starts moving like this. This is kind of what I started to think about. Let's see, Sam. Yeah. Yep. Gold left the station, yeah. You can see the way that it's pulled back. We get a little breakout. Certainly not something I would take, that I would normally take. I guess that is technically first bounce. What about 15? I'm going to skip those ads. And then, let's see. Look at the 1 minute. 1 minute starting to look real crazy. So we had some space, then we got thin, then we got even more thin. So we got a lot of where the time between swings being formed is shortening, which could be an early indicator of consolidation. Consolidation is the perfect time to enter, right? No. No, no, no. Nope, nope, nope. Third push to the high. Ooh, that's dirty. Watch this. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I want to see how this bar closes. Look at that. Shorts were trapped. Immediately it was taken away. And then they just put this giant... Oh no, Mustang. Marlon, I appreciate that. Mustang, what happened? Were you long? Oh no. Yeah, this bar right here. This is what I was just pointing out too. Is we've got the low right here. This is the previous trap that they've created. And this bar came down and is level with it. And it actually put in a higher low right here. People are getting absolutely worked right now. This is not a time for me to get in. On any setup. Long or short, it doesn't matter. The EMA has now gone flat, which is a good visual. Even if I didn't have the EMA and I was just sitting here trying to figure out what was going on, like I was describing, the swings were wide. They started to get more narrow, and then more narrow, and even more narrow. It is coiling. It is an early warning sign of consolidation. Not a good time to enter. We're also in a market still making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, I have not entered anything. I have no orders in. I am observing. And observing only. At least for now. They just allowed those shorts to get out, but barely. I wonder if they're going to take it away. I'm wondering if this is like the initial consolidation high-low. They hit the high first. They came down. Swings are very close together. Coiling. Ew. No, thank you. Drive into the low 1. Drive into the low 2. Drive into the low 3. Is this a 10 a.m. club? Where's the 10 a.m. club? Hands up. Where's all of you that have subscribed to the 10 a.m. club only? Well, in 1 minute, it's your time to shine. Let's see. Let's see. It's 10 o'clock. We gotta show me something. Not you all, the market. Show me something. Oh, the sizzles too. That's some spicy water right there. No entry pattern for me on anything. Me either. Me either. I see a lot of games. I'm seeing a lot of maybe some Monopoly up there, the game of life. Tons of games. And we're not winning. We are not winning. A portion of me feels like they're going to go lower. But a much larger portion of me feels like they're working the low. And I'm a little conflicted. The market is, however, still making higher highs and higher lows, which makes it very difficult for me to say or justify getting in. Come on, NASDAQ. Show me something. Show me something crazy. Something crazy that makes me just, you know, undeniable. It's undeniable. I can't not do it. Because right now I have no orders in, and I'm not seeing anything. If I go short on this, I just feel it. I feel it in my soul. I'm going to get slapped silly. Something feels off. NQ no trade, I agree. I'm holding. Holding on. Holding out. I'm starting to get bored. We all know what that means. When something sits in consolidation for too long and I don't have a setup, I start to get bored. And where other people, when they get bored, they usually just take a trade, I just leave my computer and I go do something else. And I'm almost there. I'm almost at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? Anybody else take anything today? Maybe some other instruments that I'm not even watching. Did you all take anything? Where's John at? John usually comes in and says, I'm done. In and out. See you. See you later. Can you take a look at the S&P? Let's do it. Oops. Yeah. See, this is the move that I'm kind of looking for on NASDAQ. Back to previous day's high. John says he's short NQ. I got to tell you, John, part of me wants to join you. And a very large part of me doesn't like how they're working the low of this consolidation and how they've edge their way down. And I have seen this exact pattern, and then it just breaks and it follows through all of a sudden. And it kind of seems like maybe they are dragging down. And that would be like the positive side of the trade, right, if I were to enter. The negative side of this is it just feels like maybe, it could just take one bar and everybody who's short would be caught. So it feels like maybe I would be getting in a little too low. And those are my own feelings. If you're already doing well in the trade, then don't let me, please don't let me scare you out of it by any means. It looks like it's working out pretty well for you. What is a 1 hour doing? One minute, 9 seconds left on this bar. Am I going to take it? I don't know. It doesn't feel good. And that's just my stomach and my gut telling me. The chart itself looks fine. It's not making lower lows and lower highs on a 5 minute, which would go against my entry criteria. So I think I'm going to have to practice what I preach and not take it. You know what I mean? But it does kind of... The 5 minute looks like it would fade. Like it would fade back to the low. The way the 1 minute is moving is a little infuriating. Infuriating. I don't know. Basically like a pause and a break. Yeah. You know what the problem is? I think that maybe this was the break here. So this was the breakdown, the engulfment, the breakout. It even broke out of the EMA. And then it gave the... I mean, of course, this is part of the M, but this is also the breakout, fake out bar. And I was watching this and thinking about getting in at the break, but the way the 1 minute chart was moving, it was creeping down into the low, which is not usually what I look to get in on a flush, right? This is a flush sort of opportunity where when you get in, it should flush and run lower. Which it kind of did, but not really. They sure do keep dragging the shorts lower, though, I'll tell you that. 1 minute chart, they just keep... The bars themselves are trending. The bars are making lower highs. Every time they put a bar back up. But that's also part of it, where they drag it a little bit lower, they go sideways. They drag it a little bit lower, they go sideways. I despise trading stuff like that. And you all have seen it too. You all have seen it too. When I get into something and it just goes sideways and then goes my way and then goes sideways and then goes my way and goes holy cow, that's annoying. I'll get out just out of spite. Like I'm not doing this. Because I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So let's say entry criteria, I get in. It breaks, it goes lower, right? I get in. Breaks down, goes sideways immediately after I get in. Okay, no big deal. Follows through a little bit. Not enough for me to start taking profits, just enough. And then it goes sideways again. 3-5 minutes. Goes a bit lower. Goes sideways again. 3-5 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes. And then you're in profit. Now I've been in this trade for 45 minutes to an hour. It's only gone 25 to maybe 50 points, if that. Maybe I've scaled in. Maybe I wasn't confident enough because of how it's moved. And then you get one candle back up like this. And you just had to sit there for 45 minutes to an hour. And then you get stopped out for nothing. No. No, 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 and no. That's not the type of moves I'm looking for. We're looking for parabolic, flushes, things like that are accelerating. I'll say it again, no. Just not doing it. There we go. I didn't take it, but I know some of you did. Heck yeah. There we go. Now it's starting to accelerate a little bit. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the P2P live stream, I'm not taking anything. I think that the trade was this right here. Now, I didn't make a lower low, and the way that it's moving has kept me out. It didn't fit my entry criteria of higher high, lower low, pullback entry. So I didn't take it. This is a 3 sessions of breakout on day 3, just like we talked about. John, I know you said you took this. Congrats. Good stuff. What a great way to end the week. I'll see you all on Monday. 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, ready to go, ready to trade. Hoping for a better week. We've had a few really slow days, timing-wise, things moving a little strange. Opens that are just kind of doo-doo. Looking for a better week. Not very many trades this week. Mostly scalps. I think they were all scalps. In fact, 20, 25 points. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough of me rambling on. You have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Get out in the sun. Soak in some rays. Get that, those vitamins flowing. Get a workout in or two. Do your studying, but get out in the sun. It'll make you happier in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.